We start things off from the New York Post. Pop culture is making smoking cool again with Gen Z youth watching. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Gen Z, largely comprised of middle and high school students, reported the lowest smoking rates on record in 2024, according to the CDC and FDA data, but that trend may be in jeopardy. Overall, the decline in smoking in the U.S., down to about 11.9% of the population overall, is a great public health story that has occurred over the past 20 years. Dr. Neil W. Schulger, Dean of the School of Medicine of New York Medical College and pulmonologist, told Fox News Digital. Some experts, however, fear that the cool factor could be making a comeback. Oh boy, ladies and gentlemen, hooking a new generation on smoking. In certain populations, there is reportedly a movement to re-glamorize cigarette smoking, Schulger said. On Instagram, or one Instagram account, Sigfluencer posts photos of celebrities with cigarettes to its more than 83,000 followers. Now, many of you who are watching the BuzWeaver channel may have been around back in the day when there were cigarette commercials on television and know all the stories behind it, the cigarette man or the smoking man, and so forth and so on. Let me know down in the comment sections, are you a former smoker? Have you given up on smoking? And do you know anyone or even yourself considering smoking again? Who in the world would want to do that? Because even Fox News is covering this as well. Pop culture embraces smoking as cool again, and Gen Z youth are watching. Celebrity smoking content trends. Celebrity smoking content threatens decades of public health gains, experts warn. Now, in this particular clip here from Fox, it's like halfway down when they start talking about the little pouches, the little nicotine pouches that people have been using. And of course, vaping has been at the front and center of things as well. And even from Axios, we have cigarettes are all over pop culture again. Now, they put it behind a paywall. Shame on them. Of course, Axios being who they are. But nonetheless, even when I went over here to Ground News to get a little bit more information or details and so forth, it just shows the New York Post as covering this particular topic, which is interesting because smoking has been one of those things, as it says in the articles, something that has, they have, wound down for the last 20 years. I'm sure many of you guys can recount the years of, for example, when I worked in the hospitality business, we had a nightclub and, it was constantly filled with smoke. And then when you're out and you went out clubbing and so forth, those were all filled with smoke. And it was just a totally different environment. As a matter of fact, I remember watching a young lady on Instagram, and she was doing these 90s dance moves and stuff, music from the 90s. And I said, the only thing that's different about your video here is that it's not smoke. There's no smoke in your room. So I'm sure many of you guys can remember all of that. But very interesting. You guys let me know down in the comment section, are you a former smoker? My sister used to smoke. My grandmother actually used to smoke. And I think my father did for a little bit when he was in the Navy, but not particularly long. But the only recent smokers that I know of were my sister and some cousins of mine and a particular friend. But for the most part, I'm not familiar with people smoking again. I do see it occasionally, but with this new pop culture trend, I'm very curious about this because, as we've seen, I don't want to say the establishment uniparty was the ones that shut all of smoking down. I think it was just a collective effort among society just from the irritations. I'm sure many of you probably may even remember flying on airline smoke because I can certainly remember it. And I mean, one cigarette or even a cigar can fill the entire cabin section or half of the cabin section of an aircraft because, of course, there's no exhaust out of the aircraft because it's pressurized. But yeah, there's so many things I could go off on when it comes to smoking. But I can remember in those clubs, in the nightclubs and around even the lobby lounge and places where I used to work. It was a very beautiful hotel that I worked in, 4-star. And of course, smoking then at that time in the 90s was, all the rage. It was going around. Friends of mine were also smokers. I just never got into smoking, didn't like it, didn't care anything for it. It always, I always found it, well, I never said anything to anyone, but it was kind of irritating to me. It was kind of a bit of an irritant to me. But nonetheless, guys, let me know down in the comments what your thoughts are on this. Do you think smoking is making a comeback? Do you know anyone who's making a comeback with smoking? Are you seeing more smokers out there? Maybe someplace where you work or activities that you do and you see people out smoking more now. Let me know down in the comments. But that's what I had for you guys this Friday.
All right, guys, so that's going to wrap it up for this Friday vlog. Thank you for the likes, the shares, and the comments below this video. You can find the various social media links that I belong to, so avail yourselves to that. And of course, my affiliate links are down there as well, so if you order frequently from Amazon or are a Prime member, you can use my landing page link. It's safe while you're online. Your privacy is protected. And speaking of privacy being protected while you're online, my favorite virtual private network, TrustZone, is down there as well. No fuss, no bloats, get you straight to what you want to do. But ladies and gentlemen, your guys' help is as easy as likes, shares, and comments, which I always appreciate. You guys always have interesting things to say. And of course, just the general interactions here across all social media. That'd be BitChute, Rumble, and Odyssey as well. Thank you guys so very much for your continued support. Appearing there on the screen, that's going to be the channel icon for everyone watching on YouTube, of course. You guys can click on that to subscribe, as well as to select notification. That way you'll know when there is content here on the channel, as well as in the community post if you're watching on YouTube. And I'll see all you guys behind the Galaxy Film camera next week.